Hey everyone, my name is Xenia and today I'm going to talk about 5 of the nicest wrestlers that I have met. Disclaimer, that is not to say that other wrestlers that I've met weren't nice to me. I have met quite some wrestlers throughout the years and most of them have been absolute sweethearts to me. And of course I haven't met every wrestler that I like. Of course there are people on the roster that I haven't met that might be very nice and that might be great people. This video is more to talk about my own experience and to tell you about the things that I have seen or heard. There's going to be little to no tea spillage in this video because it's just so warm and wholesome, and I mean, don't we all need just a little more fluff in this cruel world? So I'm just going to talk about the wrestlers that I've met that have been very nice to me and that have made me very happy with the fan experiences. I'll start with number 5, and that I would have to say has to be Rosa Mendes. That's of course not her real name is Lana, but when I met her she was still Rosa Mendes and she was still working for WWE. That was in 2013 during WrestleMania week. Here's a picture. Rosa has been one of my absolute all-time favorites throughout all of the years that I have been a wrestling fan. That is one of those cases where you're like, oh, but she's not like the best wrestler out there, and I know she isn't, but she's so nice and she's just such a kind soul, I feel. And when I met her it was a photo op and I walk up to her and I'm kind of at a loss of words because she's just so beautiful and wonderful and she's smiling, and before I can even say anything, because I really want to say how beautiful she is in spite of how many times she must have heard it, and before I can say anything she kind of goes in for a hug and tells me that I look beautiful, which was a super nice way to start this encounter. And we take the picture and she tells me that she likes my hair and I tell her that I like her hair. You know, it was one of those typical like girls in the bathroom encounters when you're just so nice to each other, and even though you're just walking out of this bathroom in 30 seconds and you will never see each other again most probably, you just kind of feel so warm inside. I know it's not that much of a story in itself, but just the way that she greeted me and the way that she made me feel overall made up for a very warm and nice experience. And I love her even more now that she's a mom and she has the Totally Fit Mama, which is a great brand, a great company that you should probably follow. I'm really happy for her and I respect her a lot, and she's still one of my absolute favorites. As my number 4, I would pick Alex Riley. Alex Riley is also one of my all-time favorites, and I'm not going to talk about it that much in this video, but I feel like he could have had a much better run in WWE. I feel like he has everything that it takes. He's charismatic, he's handsome, he is good in the ring, he's dynamic, he can connect with the crowd if you let him. I met Alex Riley also at the same WrestleMania Access in 2013, and there weren't much people there at his signing. Maybe I just was a little bit late, maybe the line was closing, I don't really know because it was kind of hectic. And I came up to him and I was an ass and I asked him to stand up for a picture with me, which he did, which is very nice of him in itself. I do feel like it was a bit of a shitty thing of me to do. I was younger and now I don't do such things, but it was my first abroad WWE event, not in my country, not house show in my country that is. And I felt like I made such a long way and I love Alex Riley so much. I really wanted a good picture and I still have this picture everywhere, like around my house. I have it framed, and I asked him if I could hug him, which I always do. I feel like if you want to like give someone a hug or something, you should definitely always ask them, no matter what gender or what social setting or whatever. And he said yes, and we hugged. And when he was giving me his autograph, at that time I was in my teens and I had this like recurring nickname that I had everywhere and that I still have on some platforms but not that much anymore. It was Jack Valentine. Jack Valentine has something to do with some British folklore, which I can't even remember the detail of, but it stuck with me for some reason. So at that time when interacting with foreigners, I introduced myself as Jackie because my name, Xenia, is a bit hard to pronounce. So when I was asking him for his autograph, I said, my name is Jackie, and then I said, but it's not my real name, but you know. And he replied with, yeah, I know, mine's not real either. So as little of a detail as it is, it was kind of a bit of an insight into his world as a WWE superstar, and it made me feel kind of special. And I know it's probably nothing special to him, but to me it was something really fun and really nice to hear. And maybe I'm too in my head about it, but I feel like if you love a wrestler who is not necessarily that popular in the company at that point in time, and you're very enthusiastic about them, I feel like they feel it, and I feel like they respond to it in a way, and it's a special experience in itself. My number 3 has to be Alistair Black. I met Alistair Black in 2017 when I went to WrestleMania again in Orlando, and as a part of my WrestleMania package there was this Performance Center tour, which was so much fun. It was one of the greatest, one of the most fun WWE related experience that I have experienced. First there was a Q&A with some NXT superstars, then they showed us how they train a little bit, then they showed us some matches, and then they just kind of let us go onto the floor with all of the NXT/developmental superstars, which was kind of shocking. So I was kind of starstruck by that situation, and I just started kind of looking around, trying to find people that I admire from NXT and trying to figure out who I would like to approach. And the first person that first came to mind and then I first saw him was Alistair Black. But I was a little bit nervous to just approach him, so I kind of shuffled towards him, and then he saw me, and when he finished talking to the other guy that he was talking to, he kind of turned to me and introduced himself. He went like, "Hi, are you enjoying your WrestleMania week so far?" Which was really nice of him to kind of break the ice, because I couldn't seem to make this first step myself. And the way that he just casually introduced himself, even though I obviously know what his name is since I'm his fan, he made this lighthearted small talk and he made me feel really comfortable. We took a picture and it was really nice to have this very human interaction with the wrestler. So he set a very nice tone for the rest of my Performance Center experience. My number 2 is the Russian Lana, and Rusev, but mostly Lana. I met Lana in 2017 at the VIP reception prior to NXT TakeOver, and I approached her and I of course asked for a picture, and I told her that I was Russian, that I was from Russia. And it's funny because I didn't really know at that point that Lana could actually speak Russian, not as in a second language or a third language, but actually speak it as her mother tongue. But she told me that she actually does speak Russian at home with her family, as in with her parents' family, and we started talking to each other in Russian. And you know, there's this thing about Russian-speaking people who live in the US or outside of Russian-speaking countries for that matter. You kind of start missing speaking your language to people who have it as their mother tongue as well. She made me feel like she was kind of excited to speak Russian to me as well, and she took quite some time to talk to me. And we just talked to each other, again, not like a wrestler and their fan, but more like friends almost, I want to say. Because we talked about just basically everyday stuff. We talked about her background, we talked about my background, we talked about what I do, what she does. And it was a really nice experience when you feel like you're not bothering the wrestler necessarily, you feel like they want to talk to you as well. And then when she was signing for me, she wrote that I'm her favorite Russian fan, which is also nice. And now, drum roll, we're gonna talk about the person that I put on the first place. This person is Stu Bennett, formerly known as Wade Barrett, King Barrett, Bad News Barrett, also the Pinnacle at some point. Now, Stu Bennett is one of my favorites, and I know that he's technically not a WWE wrestler at this point in time, and he also wasn't when I met him. But I feel like he was a pretty prominent figure in WWE. He had a lot to offer, and he still does, and I feel like he's really talented, and I really liked his run in WWE. I met Stu at WrestleCon in 2017. Originally, I hadn't even intended to go to WrestleCon. I was going to WrestleMania that year, but I had many plans. And that day of WrestleCon that he was at took place the same day that the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. So I wasn't planning on going to WrestleCon at all, but when I learned that he was going to be there, yeah girl grabbed herself a ticket, booked her flight a little earlier, and went her way to Orlando. I was a little nervous when I was meeting him because I was just so excited. And it's always nice when a wrestler handles your fangirling well. He was really nice and really patient. He asked what my name was, and he asked me where I was from. He also said that he feels like he remembers me from somewhere, which no, I have never met him before that. And I love the way that even after WrestleCon, he took the time to look at the pictures that he had taken with his fans, to comment on some, to like them, to repost some even, and to thank his fans for coming out there. And I just so happen to have a ton of pictures with him, of me coming up to him, of me giving him a hug, also with asking his permission first. And I'm glad, because I just really love this experience, and I'm glad that I have pictures of almost every stage of that. So yeah, what else to say? He's just a great guy. So yeah, here's my top 5. Yours might be different, and as I had said, there are many wrestlers out there who are probably absolute sweethearts that I haven't met yet. I hope that is to come. I hope you enjoyed this little wholesome video. Thank you so much for watching. You can subscribe if you want to, or you can find me on social media. I'll put the links down below. I'm at Xenia did that on almost any platform. Goodbye.